What's up, traders? Welcome back to another episode of Price Action Sundays. This is now the second episode. If you haven't checked out the first episode, then please go and check it out. And I would also, before I get into the video, I would appreciate it if you could please like and subscribe to this video just to help me with the growth of this channel. I would highly appreciate it. So as you can see, I got this brand new microphone mount. So this is pretty cool because now I don't have to hold the mic the entire time. So that's a little small upgrade that I got for the channel. So anyway, let's get right into it. The past week's price action has been quite slow. I mean, there hasn't been anything much happening. I think it's because it's non-farm payroll week, which is NFP. If you don't know what NFP is, it's basically the biggest news release on the US dollar that takes part the first Friday of every single month. Now, the thing is with the non-farm payroll, on my back testing, what I've realized is the markets are quite choppy that week and most of my trades never work out. So I don't really tend to take much trades on the week of non-farm payroll or the week that non-farm payroll is taking place, just because I've seen it's not worth the risk. I do take trades if it's very high probability, but if anything bothers me on the setup, I just really do not take the trade. And I'll show you later when I jump onto the charts. I keep leaning towards the mic. I don't know why. I'll just sit back. But anyway, what I want to just also say before I go through on the charts, I just want to just quickly talk about a quote that always reminds me, let's say in a week I don't take any trades or it feels like the market is slow and there's no opportunities. There's a quote by Warren Buffett that says, "The market is a device from transferring money from the impatient to the patient." And I always think about that quote when I want to get greedy or jump into the markets, like a week of NFP. I know I shouldn't take trades. And that's the thing. I always think about that quote. And the people that are impatient are going to get taken out and lose a lot of money. Where if you stay patient and wait for the correct setups, then you will take advantage of the markets. Okay, guys, so I'm going to now jump onto the charts. Let's quickly look at what happened on the past week's price action. And I'm also going to do a quick forecast of what I do expect to happen on the coming week's price action. So let's quickly just get right into it. Okay, so as you can see on my charts, this is Australian dollar, US dollar. So I'm going to quickly just get started. But before I jump onto the market, I just want to say this is the week of NFP. So as I mentioned, that NFP is usually a week that I do not want to take risks with trades. If it's a very, very high probability setup, I would probably look at it. But other than that, I do not want to risk my capital on NFP week unless it's a really high probability. So I'll run through a few setups that I saw this week on Australian dollar, US dollar, but I didn't take any trades this week, not one trade. But I'm going to show you why, and I'm going to run through that. So as you can see, this is the start of the week on, you'll see, Monday morning. But I just want to mention something. Last week, I spoke about this ascending that took place here. So you can see we had this large ascending. I expected price to push down. But as I say, in the markets, you can forecast, but you cannot move the markets. I mean, if everybody could read the markets 100%, you would make tons of money. So I expected the market to move down because of this large ascending. But as you can see, we broke the low and then we started moving into a further ascending. And I was in the entire week just expecting the market to move down, and it just didn't move down. It just kept on pushing up. So as you can see, we had this ascending. Nothing really intrigued me here to look for setups. Then you can see we started breaking the low here, retracing, then breaking the higher, retracing. So as you can see there, then we pushed down, broke this low, had a large wick, and then the market started moving to the upside. So we had this range area at the bottom, and then we started moving up. But every time we're moving up with AU, I just do not see like momentum kicking to the upside. As you can see here, we broke this high, retraced. We broke this high, retraced. We broke this high, retraced. Then we had this little push to the upside. So I was actually looking for a setup over here. Let me just get rid of this drawings, because this was my high and that was my low. And I was actually looking for a setup here because it started forming this little flag. Like you can see, here's the push down. That was my first low of the setup. broke it with a wick, and we got this nice green candle. But the biggest thing that bothered me was, if I look at the impulse of these candles, it just doesn't look strong enough. I mean, look at this huge candle that formed on NFP that I'm going to run through right now. But look at these candles. It just doesn't show enough momentum in the markets. And we're just ascending to the upside the entire time. So anyway, I thought I was going to take a setup there. Never took it. We anyway broke, retraced. And then we had this nice green candle that looked like it was going to push up. But we broke that green candle, gave a large red candle, just showing that we are basically ascending in the market. And then this was basically the high, So from Thursday until the NFP release, we were just ranging between this area. Anyway, we broke this high on NFP. So you can see this large green candle was a news candle, and that was exactly 2 o'clock. It's actually 2:30, but in that hour, NFP took place and we shot up to the upside. As we shot up on the NFP release, we had this 3 wicks on the top, also a wick at the bottom. So that's all warning signs. We can either range or reverse. And as you can see, after the impulse, we immediately broke the high. And this is almost the close of the candle. The markets are going to close in about an hour's time. And we retraced there as well. So if I look at AU, usually when this happens, we break this high and start ascending. Like this, sorry for my drawing. I'm trying to show you guys what I'm looking at. Then I would look for a reversal to the downside. But because it's early on a Monday morning next week, I would be very hesitant. I would first want AU to show me it wants to go down. I would then start looking for setups to the downside. If the impulses do not show it wants to go down, I mean, this pair can still keep on moving up. I cannot control the markets, but I'm looking for that push down. I mean, this entire move to the upside has just been ascending price action. The entire time it's ascending. It doesn't look like it wants to move up. Even there last week as well. So I'm expecting a big push down from AU the coming week. Hopefully, I just think AU is going to start moving to the downside. So anyway, that's what I saw on AU for the week. Let's quickly go to EJ. Not much happened on this pair. As you can see, that's the start of the week. So last week we had this large wick at the bottom, and then I said I expect AU from the descending to start pushing up, and that's exactly what happened. So as you can see, we had this descending, the start of the week on market open. That was market open on the Monday morning. We had this push to the upside, this massive wick, because I thought I was going to start looking for setups if it gave me any setups after this impulse, but then immediately we rejected with this large wick. Anyway, that was my high then, and this was my low. And then you can see we came down, had this ascending at the bottom. That doesn't really mean anything. And then we just shot to the upside. So after this huge impulse, I was starting to look for setups, because I thought after this large impulse, momentum wants to move to the upside, and I was looking for a setup for momentum to continue. But as you can see, we had this large push. We came down with this large red candle, and then we started ranging in this area, and price just ranged between my current high and low. And it's been doing that since the impulse took place. 6 o'clock in the morning it started taking place. My high formed 12 o'clock, and it's just been in a range the entire week. So honestly, I would not look for any setups on EJ unless we can have a strong impulse to the upside out of this range, or strong impulse to the downside, or if we come to the upside and start ascending out of this high, and maybe get a reversal set up to the downside. Or the same thing if we push down and we get like a descending and then a reversal to the upside. But other than that, not much to say about EJ. It's just we're in this range, and unless we break out of this range with a lot of momentum, I'm not looking for setups. Also remember, on a big high like this, there's a lot of liquidity above and below the line. So there's a lot of liquidity in these areas. So a lot of times what can happen is we can push up and immediately reverse all the way to the downside, and then just at the same spot, just reverse back to the upside. So unless we take these areas out cleanly, solidly, I'm not looking for any setups. So yeah, that's on EJ. Let's jump to EU. So Euro US dollar. On EU, you can see we started the week with this red candle, and then we were basically just ranging there, a little range. And then about on London Open, you can see we had this sort of impulse to the upside. So let me just get a bit closer here. So on London Open, as you can see, we started pushing to the upside. Then we made this wick, and we had this 2 weeks here as well. So this doesn't really show momentum wants to keep on going to the upside. So this was my low, that was my high. And you know, I was looking, here was a nice setup that formed, not a nice setup, but there was a trade that I could have taken here. If I did take the trade, I would have been in a lot of profit, or let's say a few % profit. But as you can see, I would not be able to lock in any profits because I need this low to break, and then I would place my low there basically. But that did not happen, and I would literally be taken out of the market again. So happy I stayed out of that one. And on a Monday, and as I said, on NFP, it's a very risky week to trade, especially if you're trading the 1 hour time frame in the way I trade. So let's carry on. So then we had this push to the downside. We then broke this major low because that was my low, and then we retraced, broke that low, retraced with a large wick, broke that low, retraced. So I was just expecting price to basically range, you know, basically ascend or descend. But as you can see, we kept on with the momentum. So let me just remove all that. So we broke here, started pushing up, we broke there with a wick. So it just doesn't show that momentum wants to actually continue up. But as you can see, the whole week momentum kept on going. But it was just not enough for me to get involved in any setups. So then we had this high and this low for me, and we were just ranging. And as you can see, this range was taking place the whole Thursday. And then on Friday, same as AU, you'll see on the NFP release, 2 o'clock, then we had this huge candle to the upside, and as we shot up, we had this wick here, and it just looks like we are starting to ascend. I just want to see if my high, yeah, it kept breaking all the way to the upside. So we have this nice impulse. So I'm expecting this to probably range on Monday when it opens, or we're going to see an ascending, or we can just see momentum keep on moving up. So if momentum keeps on moving up by Tuesday and there's a setup that forms, I'll definitely look at it. Or if we can get a nice ascending from here, the Monday, I'll only start looking for setups around, let's say, New York Open, about 2 o'clock South African time, New York Open on Monday. But until New York Open, I wouldn't really look for any setups. So I'll probably look for a reversal, or if we ascend, I'll probably look for an impulse and then look for entry if it shows that the momentum wants to keep going down. I just don't know what's going to happen exactly, but that's the thing. If you're a price action trader, you trade price action. Whatever happens now, you trade. You do not expect anything from the market. We trade what we see. So, well, not we, but I trade what I see on the markets, and you guys also probably, that's what I'm trying to get the message across. So you can forecast as much as you want, but you have to see what the market does first before you start planning to take trades. I mean, this whole week went by, I did not take any trades in the market. And as I said on that quote earlier, it's all about transferring money from the impatient to the patient. And that's probably the hardest skill to learn in trading, but it starts getting better with experience. So, you know, sometimes to stay out of the market is actually benefiting you more than to be in the market the entire time. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video on my Price Action Sundays episode 2. I'm super excited about the series. So next week I'll launch episode 3 as soon as the markets close on Sunday. Please like and subscribe if you like this content so that you do not miss the next episodes. But thank you so much for all the support so far. I really appreciate it. Until next week, have a great week, and let's have a great November.